It's time for bookkeeping, beer, and BS. I like this little workaround here, and I think this is something that we really got to pay attention to when we're using Indeed now. And I actually think this is why you need Shawn, and why you need Shawn's team is because it's easier to pay somebody to do this instead of you as a business owner try to do this stuff. Like Shawn's great, does good stuff, but I think as we keep going down this recruiting path, it's like oil changes in your car, right? People used to change their own oil. People used to rotate their own tires. As you get busier growing your business, you're going to like delegate more of that stuff, but also that stuff's going to get more and more complex. Just like you'd be crazy to do your own Google ads today and not have Michael Gregory be doing them. Yeah, maybe you used to do your own recruiting, but it's getting more complex. You're going to need to know the algorithms and all that stuff. And it's just not worth your time to go in and do what Class Act is saying here, which is you can get reimbursed for this if they don't respond, but you need to go in and flag that they didn't respond. And so you need to be in your Indeed account all the time. And it's just way easier to pay somebody else to do that, like fractions of what it costs you or your team to do it. But definitely, if you're using Indeed and you're on this model, make sure you are going in and saying who didn't respond to your inquiries. Another thing that we do a lot of in Indeed right now is resume searches. So instead of waiting for an applicant to come through and selecting that applicant, it's like digital headhunting a little bit. And we're having more cost-effective luck with doing that than just the normal cost per applicant. And the other thing I'd say is if you are an existing Indeed user, James, to what you said earlier, you can still get the old format Indeed. I don't know for how much longer. We do that for any clients that we have that are existing Indeed users. New users, they don't get a choice. If you like jump on Indeed tomorrow, you're just getting this. We were at Sales Boost last week, and John Karmazin presented on, he had, I'll get the numbers wrong, but he spent like a couple $100 and got 2,000 some applications. And every job market's different, right? So that's not reasonable for every labor market. He's outside of Philly. If you're in Minneapolis or Seattle or Salt Lake City or Denver, like you're not going to get a tenth of those results if you're lucky. But some labor markets, especially in some Texas markets, you'll for sure get something like that. And I'm sitting there like, I was actually clicking through the slides for him and I was like, this is awesome. Except my worry is he's presenting this right before they change everything. And so if anybody's out in this audience and they're not using Indeed yet, and you're like, oh my God, he got that for an Indeed ad, they're going to go. And I don't think John knows that Indeed's changing this because Indeed hasn't changed it on him yet. They're going to go and open up an Indeed account and be like, John's getting 2,000 some applicants for $200. And they're going to get like, I got 5 applicants for $200. John got 2,800 applicants for $200. Like, what am I doing wrong? Right. And it's just like, you're just too late to the party, man. You missed the good old days. Those were the good old days. And now you're stuck with this. So it'll be really interesting. Super, super interesting what happens in this space, but I'm excited for it.
Yeah. So that 72 hours before you get charged for the application, if you're getting applicants all the time and you miss that runs a giant bill. I was out of town when like maybe 10 or so, would come due and forgot to cancel or reject them. And I come back Sunday night and it's 900 and something bucks for like 10 people that I forgot to just hit reject, and they never responded to me or we never even talked to. So you just paid almost $1,000 to not even talk or see anything about anybody.
Yeah, you make that mistake once. I think the cost for our all-in recruiting package is $500 a month.
Sure.
So you literally make one day you make the mistake, and it would have been worth hiring it out. And then, I mean, like that's just unique to Indeed, and maybe that goes away or they change something. But it is becoming a hands-on thing, and I think recruiting is just getting that much more important. We've all been beat over the head with this labor market for the last 3-4 years, and it is a challenging labor market. And it's probably the biggest differentiator any of us have, because there's people out there like James who are crushing it and kicking ass, and they're not complaining of, I can't find employees and nobody wants to work, right? They're figuring it out. So people are out there growing massive businesses and figuring it out. You just got to be willing to go compete with them. Hey, what's up, business nerd? Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you learned a heck of a lot watching that episode. Do me a favor, subscribe right down here. And if you really like what you saw, you got more goods right here. Check out this one or check out this one and do this. Go subscribe. Appreciate you. Work smarter, work harder, go earn yourself some pride. Catch you on the next one.